block, and he creates an oil block that you can mine. And maybe you are to, this oil block will cost about a billion Swedish crowns, and you don't have this money. The government will do what? The government will stand as surety, and you go to the bank to take this particular 1 billion crowns at next to nothing interest rate. They will stand as your surety. Maybe every day on this oil block, you will be making about $100,000 a day in gain. So that money goes into your pocket, it does not go into the Nigerian nation. So that is why the nation, one of the reasons the nation is still poor, because you have oil, but the oil are in private holdings. Individuals have these oil wells and their families and cronies. It is not something that you say that the state or the government is managing the oil and the profit that comes from the oil, then the government will do what? The government will use it for infrastructure and other basic necessities of life. No, that is not what happens. What happens is just what we have explained. They are given to individuals who are not expected to remit taxes to the government on what they have been given. So we see that it's almost like the deposit money creation that we are talking about, that the banks deposit money creation. Why are the richest people on earth not devoted Christians? Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and all the multi-billionaires that you have. Why are there not people who are going to the mountains to pray to God?
Because they think they have made all the money by themselves, not with God's help.
They have made all the money by themselves, not with God's help.
Because they are solving problems. They are solving problem. The more you are solving problem, the more the money will be running after you. The Christians are busy sitting in the four corners of the church without solving the problem.
I think that is partly true, but that is not the whole issue. As we have seen, if I go to the bank manager, if I know the bank manager at handles banking, and he gives me a credit line of 10 million Swedish crowns for a business, and maybe at an interest of about 1 or 2%, and I use it to do business. That business I'm doing is a limited liability something, or a PLC's kind of business. If that money, if I lose it tomorrow, they will do nothing to me. I am given opportunities to make this money, not because of the fact that I'm creating value. Creating value is part of it, because money comes, yes, as a result of value creation. But the global economy we have today, it is not simply in that way that it functions. It is much more complex with what we have seen leveraging. What I have talked about now, going to Handelsbanken to ask for 10 million Swedish crowns is leveraging. I'm using bank money to make more money. And you go, somebody who has credit is credit worthy, it goes to SDGs to borrow money for a house, for a mortgage. He or she maybe gets 2 million Swedish crowns for this mortgage. And in about 2 or 3 years time, he or she sells it and makes a huge profit. Maybe the mortgage he or she has taken is at a very low interest rate. That mortgage is not given to everybody. Everyone is not given that leverage, that opportunity. So that is where the differences and the gaps that we have between the rich and the poor, the gap is growing astronomically in our day. The rich will continue to become rich, and the poor will continue to become poor. In fact, what the poor have is moving over to the rich. They are accumulating more and more, more and more, more and more. You see, billions and billions of dollars that these people are making because of the system and the way the rules are written. Why are richest people on earth not devoted Christians? If one thing this perhaps this particular discussion today would have maybe opened our eyes to is the fact that you do not have to pray to God to have money. In fact, it is not important. What we should be praying to God to is for wisdom and strength, to be healthy and to have good ideas to create value, to be at the right places at the right time, do what we need to do. In most places, for example in Nigeria, you have churches, you know, the number of churches in one street in Nigeria is more than all the churches in Denmark. The number of churches in one street in Nigeria is more than the number of all the churches in Norway. Yet, Norway is richer than Nigeria and doing better. But in Nigeria this night, millions of people will be on the mountains praying to God for a breakthrough. God will make them become extremely rich. And that praying is not that they are creating value or they have something they are going to sell to make that money. They have produced something to make that money. In fact, sometimes it is a way to cheat somebody to make it. A priest called me the other day and he told me that he told one of his parishioners that he went to his account and he discovered about 20,000 crowns that somebody had transferred into his account. And he said, no, this money is not mine. Who must have transferred this money? So he said he called one of the Christian mothers, one of the leaders who was in the church, and said to her, look, I have 20,000 crowns in my account. And the woman said, praise the Lord. Father, God has answered your prayers. You have been praying and praying. You see how God answers prayer. The priest said, he looked at this woman, he felt pity for her. And he said to this woman, do you know that the owner of this money is somewhere now crying, not knowing where the money has gone? The priest said he entered his car and drove to the bank, went to the bank manager and said, I received money in my account and I'm sure it was wrongly transferred. Could you people trace the owner of this particular money and send the money back? And that was what they did. But for some people who have not understood God and money, what they will say, it is a breakthrough.
Miracle money.
Miracle has happened. They saw money on the street, a bag of money, instead of taking it to the police so that they can put out information to ask for the owner of the money. They will now start praising God, go to the church to give thanksgiving and sing praises to God that he has made them rich. People walk in places where they should show good example of the Christian faith and Christian life. What they do is to siphon the money meant for the common good. And they tell you, God has blessed me. So this is part of the reason why we are having this particular discussion. Unfortunately, the young people who need to hear this are not here, as we said from the beginning. They need to hear this. The next topic we'll be dealing much more on practical ways of financial responsibility. How can I become responsible financially in life? How can I have financial stability? As a young person who is 25 or 30 or who is 35, that person still has an opportunity, much more than somebody who is over 40, to begin and to finish on time. That is why I am interested in discussing this, so that the function and work of a priest is not just about celebrating Mass. It is giving life-saving knowledge, empowering people with information, because information is important in the world that we live today. Without having good information, one is not able to live even the Christian life in a much faithful and fruitful way. That is why we shall be continuing this next time. However, we have, for the next opportunity we have for this particular seminar, it will not be that same topic. We shall be having Reverend Bjorn Hackinson, who will be coming to discuss the biblical text of John. After that, the third lesson we have, seminar day, we continue as we have planned. So we'd like to thank you for coming, and we'd like to thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
Okay.